She sold human as pepper soup. In Kanjo village, everyone knew Mama Nkechi was not born rich and her husband, Papa Chika, was just a carpenter who barely made enough money for their three children, Chika, Ifeanyi and Lisu Ada. Life was hard and their one-room house could not hide their struggle. It all changed the year Mama Nkechi started cooking pepper soup by the roadside. At first, it was just one small pot and bench she set up near the junction where buses and motorbike passed. She served with a smile and called every customer, my brother, my sister. The first regular were just Okada men, like Sunday, a popular Okada rider who would stop after work. Mama Nkechi give me pepper soup with bread. He would say, and she would laugh. Sunday, you again? You will turn into pepper soup yourself. The men would laugh and eat, and the word begins to spread. Soon, traders from the markets joined. Travelers all around the world joined. People said her pepper soup had taste they couldn't explain. Within months, our bench turned into bamboo shade with more chairs. Our children also noticed the change. Chika, the eldest, was wearing sandals to school instead of trekking barefooted. Ifeanyi had a new bag and Ada stopped complaining about hunger. Their father, Papa Chika, no longer came home angry about money. He began telling his friend at the palm wine joint, "My wife is a gift from God. Our pepper soup business is feeding this family." As the business grew, Mama Nkechi hired helpers. One was Ngozi, a teenage girl from the next compound. Ngozi admired Mama Nkechi and dreamed of becoming like her one day. Another one was Emeka, a boy who needed work to stay out of trouble. He cleaned table, washed plates and served customers, while Mama Nkechi focused on cooking. By the end of the year, people were saying her pepper soup had no rival. Some joked that the chiefs and wealthy men left their wife cooking to eat at her place. The small bamboo shade was replaced with a bigger wooden shop painted with Mama Nkechi pepper soup joints boldly written on a signboard. From the point on, her name carried respect in the village. Parents pointed to their children and said, "Look, Mama Nkechi, hard work pays," but none of them knew the price behind her success. One night, Papa Chika returned home from a village meeting later than usual. He noticed that the kitchen light was on. Normally, Mama Nkechi would have finished cooking before midnight. Curious, he walked into the backyard. Therefore, he was bending over a large basin. At first, he thought it was usual goat meat she brought from the market. He stepped closer, his chest grew tighter. When he saw it was not goat meat, it was ham. Papa Chika staggered back. "Nkechi, what is this?" he whispered, his voice shaking. Mama Nkechi did not panic. She wiped her hands and looked at him straight in the eyes. "You are enjoying this morning. Don't start pretending," she said calmly. "This is the secret." He wanted to shout, he wanted to run, but he then thought of his children sleeping inside. He thought of the house he had built with money. He thought of how he no longer owed the villagers' money lender. His throat tightened. That night, he said nothing. The next morning, he avoided her eyes, but inside him, he fueled and felt ashamed. Weeks later, the children found out their own way. One Saturday, Chika and Ifeanyi sneaked into the kitchen when Mama was not around. They wanted to lick the leftover soup. What they found floats in their pots looked much like finger. Chika dropped the spoon and screamed. When Mama returned, she locked the door and said them, "If you love this family, you keep quiet," she told them. "You like your new sandals, Chika? You like your new bag, Ifeanyi? Do you want to go back to be begging?" Even little Ada, too young, failed to understand, felt the fear in the room. At the shop, Mama Nkechi carried on like nothing happened. She smiled at the customers, stirred the pots, and gave free drinks to loyal men like Sunday, the Okada rider, and Chief Ode, a wealthy trader who came from his friend. Nobody suspected, but inside the home, silence grew heavier. Each day, Papa Chika drank more palm wine than ever. The children no longer laughed loudly, and at night, when the compound was quiet, they ate their mother sharpening knife and humming to herself. The family was trapped. They were living on people's and they knew it. In Mama Nkechi's shop, business never slowed. On Friday, the line stretched out of the road. Traders from far village would stop just to buy pepper soup. She even added beer and soft drink, and the place turned into a gathering spot for men after work. Among her workers, Ngozi and Emeka, things were not normal. Ngozi often cleaned the kitchen at night. One evening, she found a torn woman blouse stuffed under the table. It was blood-stained that she didn't look like goat blood. She tried to ask Mama Nkechi about it, but the woman only smiled and said, "Go and wash that place. It is nothing." Emeka was more restless. He had noticed that anytime someone went missing in the village, Mama Nkeshi's shop would have an unusual meat stored in the back. He remembered one man, Okoro, a traveler who lodged at the nearby compound. Okoro disappeared one night, and 2 days later, Emeka saw a meat in the basin that looked like it came from someone at his size. One night, Emeka whispered to Ngozi, "This woman is not ordinary, you. She is using people's flesh." Ngozi gasped, "Stop it. If she hears you, she will throw us out." But Emeka kept talking. "Haven't you seen? Clothes that doesn't belong here, blood everywhere, people missing. I swear one day she will be caught." Emeka carried the rumor to his friend at the football field. This boy spread it around, and soon whispers reached the ear of the villagers. But nobody wanted to believe it. Chief Ude, who was one of our loyal customers, laughed loudly when someone told him, "Flesh? Do you mean people? How do you people respect successful women? Do you want to spoil her name because she's doing well? Look at her shop, always full. If she was evil, would she still be alive?" Even Sunday, the Okada rider defended her. "I have eaten a pepper soup for years, and nothing is wrong with me. It is all a lie. If it was true, I would not be here today." The more Emeka tried to warn people, the more they mocked him. Some said he was jealous of Mama Nkechi because she refused to pay him his salary on time and she does not increase his rent. Others said he wanted to start his own pepper soup business and he was trying to destroy his house. The rumors kept spreading, but the crowd at Mama Nkechi's shop only grew bigger. In the village, success spoke louder than suspicious, but the evil does not stay buried forever. It was a Friday night. The market has closed and the village was quiet except from the occasional bark of a dog. Amara, a 14-year-old girl, was on her way back from her friend's house. She carried a small calabash of palm oil her friend's mother had given to her grandmother. Everyone in the village knew Amara was a girl with a strong spirit. Her grandmother often said, "This child works with her ancestors. No one can harm her." But Nkechi had been watching her. She believed Amara would bring her new strength to her business. She hid near the bush, packed close to the stream, waiting. As Amara walked past, Mama Nkechi stepped out, covered the girl with a rag, and dragged them out into the shadow. Amara kicked and scratched Mama Nkechi. Was strong. "Keep quiet, foolish girl," she hissed. Amara's lantern dropped to the ground, shattering. In the darkness, her scream broke free. It was sharp enough to travel around the village. Nearby, Toro, the night guard, was making his round. He carried a wooden staff and a whistle tied around his neck. When he heard the cry, he blew the whistle 3 times. The sharp cut through the night. Emeka, the shop boy who had long suspected Mama Nkechi, heard it too. He had been at the football field with his friend, pretending to sleep under the shed. He rushed towards the sound, dragging his 2 boys with him. By the time Toro arrived with his lantern, he saw Amara on the ground, struggling under Mama Nkechi's grip. He raised his staff and shouted, "Leave the girl now." Mama Nkechi was afraid and let her go. Amara scrambled to her face and tears running down her cheek. "She wanted to find me," Amara cried, pointing. "She wanted to use me for her pepper soup." Villagers began arriving with lanterns, men, women, even children rubbing their eyes. Ngozi, the teenage helper at Mama Nkechi's shop, pushed way to the front. When she saw the scene, she gasped, covering her mouth. Emeka stepped forward, shouting, "Didn't I warn you? I said she was using people's flesh to cook, and you guys did not believe me." The crowd murmured, shocking and angry. Chief Ude, our most loyal customer, stood frozen. Sunday, the Okada rider, shook his head in disbelief. For the first time, Mama Nkechi's silence with no shield. The lie she had lived for years had opened, and her secret has been exposed. The whole village came out. Within minutes, the whole villagers came out. They carried their lantern, torches, and sticks. Mama Nkechi tried to defend herself. "The girl is lying. She insulted me. I only tried to discipline her." But her voice shook and her eyes darted around as if she was searching for a way to escape. Toro held Amara's shoulder firmly. "This child has spoken the truth. We must search our shop tonight." The crowd moved together, their feet thundering under the dusty ground. As the front where Emeka and Ngozi trembling but determined, Papa Chika trailed behind them silently, his head bowed. He knew they would find out, but he kept his lips sealed. When they reached Mama Nkechi's shop, the villagers forced the door open. A foul smell hit them immediately. The women covered their nose. The men pushed forward. This pot of soup still boiled on fire. On the pot, a piece of milk floated that looked so much like ants. Gasps filled the room. Emeka ran to the storage corner and dragged out a sack. When he stirred, bones, torn clothes spilled on the floor. An old man in the crowd shouted. His eyes were widely open. He said, "This is my brother's chest. We thought he was lost in the road to Enugu." He dropped to his knees, crying. Another woman screamed when she saw her daughter wrapper among the pile. Suddenly, the whisper turned into shouts. "You deceived us, you kpai our people, and gave us their flesh." The villagers dragged Mama Nkechi outside. She struggled, crying, "Please listen to me," but the crowd had no ears for mercy. They peeled out toward the village care, where more people had gathered to their mother, and their eyes were widely open. The elder raised their staff in anger. Even a loyal customer, Chief Ude and Sunday, could not defend her now. Rug began to fly. Someone threw the stone first, striking her shoulders. Another followed, hitting her hard. The crowd began shouting, their anger buoyed. Papa Chika collapsed on the ground, covering his face in shame. Chika, Ifeanyi and Ada watched quietly at the edge of the square, powerless to save their mother. By the time the police arrived, Mama Nkechi was tired. She was taken away, and her once proud face became disgraceful. Her pepper soup joint, once the pride of Umla, was left in ruins. After her arrest, the old villagers were in shock. Traders left their stall half empty, and people gathered in small groups, retelling the night event. So it was true. One woman said, "We all ate our own people." The shame was heavy on everyone's tongue. Mama Nkechi was taken to the police station in the nearby town. Thereby, under bright lights, she sat with her head bowed. For hours, officers questioned her. At first, she denied everything, but when they brought in the sack of bones and the stained clothes and the testimonies of Amara and Emeka and the families of missing people, her silence broke. She admitted what she had done. She said poverty pushed her, that she was tasty and she needed money, and she only wanted to help her family live well. The officer listened without pity. Her words became evidence. Weeks later, her trial began. The courthouse was packed with villagers, journalists, and curious strangers. Amara sat in the front row, her grandmother holding her hands. Emeka testified, explaining what he had seen as a worker in her shop. Ngozi trebly admitted that she had noticed strange things happening too, and she was scared to speak. When it was Papa Nkechi's son, he broke down. He confessed everything and his sons, and the judge says, "Nkechi Okafor, you are guilty." Then the courtroom erupted. Some cried, some cursed, and some stared in disbelief. Back in the village, a pepper soup joint was abandoned. No one wanted to pass by it. Grass grew around the broken walls. Parents warned their children never to go near. Our family lost everything. Papa Chika drank to himself. The children moved to the relatives, carrying the stigma of their mother did. Anamara, she grew stronger. People said her survival was proof that our ancestors protected the innocent. The story of Mama Nkechi became a warning. Whenever someone in the village rose too quickly, the elders would say, "Remember Mama Nkechi pepper soup. Not every success is clean." Her name, once spoken with respect, became a curse whispered with fear.